While you look at the ABC Sports Board, let me tell you, we have had a pair of field goals in our ball game here at the Coliseum in Los Angeles. 22-yarder by Quinn Rodriguez for a 3-0 USC lead in the first quarter. We've just had a 30-yard field goal by Craig Hentrick for Notre Dame here in the second quarter. And we're all tied at 3. Hentrick kicks off with 8:55 to go in the first half. Conway and Hanna are the deep people. It is Conway flying through the air. Past the 27-yard line to the 28. 5 seconds here. So our ABC stations can tell you who they are.
First and 10 USA.
Southern California from the 28-yard line. First down.
WAAY Huntsville.
Wellman to the bottom of the picture. The primary target for Marinovich. One of the most dangerous men on the field tonight. Hanna, number 19, coming in motion. Marinovich back to throw, looks the other way. Delivers it to the tailback, Maceo Royster. And Royster will get up to about the 35-yard line. That's a pickup of 7 yards. Stefan Pace, safety for Southern Cal, shaken up a moment ago. Jack Arute has the story.
And Keith, it's good news on the condition of Stefan. They were concerned that he might have suffered a concussion. They came down to the sidelines here. His neck had snapped back when he attempted that tackle. They gave him some smelling salts, and he's okay. They've cleared him to go back into the game. But the funny story was when they attempted that field goal for Notre Dame, he hopped up off the bench, ran to the line, and 2 doctors had to drag him back to give him more smelling salts. He wanted to see if they made it.
So he knows his number. Marinovich hands it to Royster. First down for the Trojans as he gets to the 40. Marinovich been passing so far tonight, 9 of 12, 95 yards. Maceo Royster has become only the 3rd sophomore in USC tailback history to run for 1,000 yards in a season.
Flanagan, number 44, is a true freshman and going to be an outstanding player. Gets over and makes sure that the tackle is made. A lot of true freshmen in the backup positions for Notre Dame.
James Flanagan, for sure and away an Irishman playing at the linebacker spot from Sturgeon Way, Wisconsin.
What do you expect?
First down at the 40. Royster. He's got that slashing quickness. And if you're the defender, there are times when he'll stop your breath.
He played in 7 games, started 7 games, and in 5 of those games, he's rushed for over 100 yards. And in fact, in one ball game, rushed for 203 yards. That was against Washington State. He's number 2 in the Pac-10 in rushing.
Ricky Irvin's injury, ankle injury in the Ohio State game, the 4th game of the year, was the injury that opened the way for him. Irvin has not been a factor since then, and he will not play tonight. Marinovich with a deep drop goes underneath, and Gary Wellman, an unlikely thing, he dropped the ball. He had a first down, and there was nobody around him, and he just simply dropped it. And you don't see it often.
Those things are going to happen. Larry Smith certainly understands that. Sometimes you try to run with the ball. Sometimes it's just a lack of concentration.
I think he may have been so open that he was startled.
The receivers for SC have been wide open, and mostly it's been underneath the coverage. Notre Dame is dropping a little bit too deep to take away anything down the field.
3rd down and 3. They're throwing for it. Bob Dahl. Big number, 93. He spoiled it. And the Trojans will punt.
Bob Dahl, not a flashy player for Notre Dame, just very steady.
Ron Dale to punt it, and the Rocket waits. Beautiful kick. Towering. 11-yard line. Ismail gets a crack. Back to the 32. Oh, he's excited.
Great
50-yard punt. Yes, he does.
Great vision. Not only speed and footwork, but great vision.
21-yard return. 6:06 to go. First quarter, a 3-3 tie. We would like to welcome to our ABC family a new affiliate, KTMF-TV Channel 23 in Missoula, Montana, the home of the Grizzlies. Montana Grizzlies. The ball is at the 32-yard line, and good news, Stephon Pace, number 9, the free safety for USC, is back in the game after being shaken up. You got Ismail at a flanker, and Brooks at tailback. And Myra to throw. Long down the sideline to the Rocket. First down, Notre Dame, Southern California, 39-yard line.
Well, here is Ismail right here in the white. What they want to do is jam him at the line of scrimmage. The wide receiver clears out, and Ismail's going to trail him down the sideline. It's a good offensive thought. Top guy clears the way, and the inside guy, which is Ismail, just runs away. The man leaves him alone because that's his zone. Do that all night.
First down, Irish. This is Brooks. And Brooks is taken down by Gideon Murrow, inside linebacker for the Trojans, at the 33-yard line. A 3-3 tie, and now Notre Dame is threatening to break it. Ismail comes out. Gerald goes in to replace him at a flanker. Fullback Culver on second down and 4, rides inside, comes up a yard and a half short. Mike Hintz locked him down, a redshirt freshman from Riverside. He's pick number 97. Both the Ismail brothers are playing tonight. Syracuse, the other one, Quadri, plays at Syracuse. He's down in Miami.
Yeah, Dennis Erickson in Miami says, I hope we can do a little bit better with that Ismail than we did against the Rockets.
Hey, I'll tell you, the other one's a little bit bigger, but he can run too. The football comes loose. Southern California comes out with it. And who's got it? Who officially owns it? Southern California has it. The first indication seemed to be that Notre Dame might have covered it. They did not. And Rodney Culver now is getting a little coaching from the coach.
Well, we'll take another look at it. No, the ball never got in there.
Never got in there.
He started closing his arms before Meyer got the ball in there. That's basic option play right there, and he just never left his arms open long enough for Meyer to either leave it in or take it out. Notre Dame came into this ball game with only 11 turnovers by their offense in 9 games. They don't do it very often.
That hurts them because they looked like they were moving it. And now the Trojans will take over. And Marinovich on the first down will put it up and goes down the pipe, and it's incomplete, intended for Gary Wellman, number 83.
Well, Keith, the thing about that fumble is you never want to stop yourself. You never want to turn it over. You want to make the other team stop. You just take a look at Wellman, 83. Lockwood, 41, comes out of the backfield to help free him up. The ball may be tipped by Grimm. No, that's over Grimm's head. Right there.
Yeah, it was.
That's Jones, number 7.
Yep, Andre Jones. Yep. Second down and 10 from the 27. That's Royster. Down he goes. Good play by Devon McDonald. Loss is back inside the 25 to the 23. 4 yards.
Notre Dame's philosophy coming into the season defensively, Keith, and they had a new defensive coordinator. Gary Darnell came in from Florida, was be more attacking, more aggressive, more upfield, let your good athletes fly around. But the problem was he had 3 young men in the secondary that hasn't played in a while, And that philosophy soon went out the window. Now it's just a bend, don't break. Take the big play away and protect those young guys in the secondary.
Make it 3rd down and 15, a 5-yard loss on the McDonald tackle. Pass to Royster is good. I want to tell you something. That Royster is a tough kid. He took on Andre Jones, number 7, head-to-head. Jones 6'4", 225. Royster 195, and he put Jones on his back. But it's not a first down.
Here's Royster here. He's just going to come out and break to the sideline. Watch how deep the Notre Dame linebackers are dropping. Obviously, they know where the first down markers are. Let him catch it and just come up and make the tackle.
He needs a couple, so they'll kick it away. Dale hit it 50 yards the last time. Rockets back there. At the 18. Down at the 25. Make it the 17, give him 8-yard return, 47-yard punt, 2:38 to go in the first half in a 3-3 tie. Well, we will assemble in the Hoosier Dome next Saturday for ABC's college basketball. And the guys wearing the short breeches will be the Indiana Hoosiers and the Louisville Cardinals at 1:30. And then game 2 will have Notre Dame against the Kentucky Wildcats. Starting at 1:30 Eastern Time next Saturday here on ABC as we open our college basketball season.
At that time of year again?
Yep. A bit of a staggering run by Jerome Bettis, but he makes it work for a pretty good chunk of yardage.
Well, this is one of the things that Holtz likes to do. If you fumble the football, which Culver did, you sit down for a while, and now you see Bettis, number 6, who is another one of their true freshmen, is in the ball game at fullback.
He got 7. 2nd down and 3. Brooks. I don't know if Tony moved it much. It looked like 98 was the man, Barber. There was somebody else inside there, Merle maybe. Gideon Merle had really got a shoulder in him. Make it 3rd down and 2 now for the Irish. Rockets back in. He's at tailback. He's turned back at the 35, but he's going to have the first down. He's got it. He is so quick. And then you need a pair of 10 gauge just to get his attention. Beth Ruach talks with the NCAA Executive Director Dick Schultz at halftime about several things, including bowls and playoffs. We'll also have the Prudential Play of the Week. And it features a memorable play from this historic series. Meyer's pass is caught by Derek Brown, the tight end. Big number 86. He's 6'7", 245 pounds. He comes from down in your area, Merritt Island, Florida.
Yes, he is, and he was an outstanding tight end, the top tight end coming out 3 years ago. And had a chance to go anywhere where he wanted. Chose Notre Dame. Here's a look at what Ismail has done tonight. Total of 84 yards. Have to find out how many times he has touched the ball. He's run it a few times. He's caught a couple. He's touched some on the returns. He came into the game averaging 170 yards for the season, but in his last 6 games, it's even higher. It's about 190.
59 seconds to go in the first half of play, and Southern California defending.
Coming into the game tonight, how he's touched the ball. He gets it on an average 6 times rushing, 3 receptions, 1 return and 1 punt return, 11 times for 170 yards.
On 1st and 10, the pass goes to the sidelines. It is caught. Meyer threw a bullet, and it pulled in by Ian Smith, the other, Herb Smith, the other tight end, the sophomore. He's a big horse too, 6'5", 235. These days, you just don't see tight ends under 225 much.
You're right. They're more offensive linemen than they are receivers. That's why it's a very tough position to play.
But Sean Davis, number 17, is in that slot position at the top of the picture there. Back goes Meyer to throw it. Going to go underneath with it, intended for the tight end again, Derek Brown, and Brown can't come up with it. The ball was thrown very, very low. And now that's 50 seconds remaining in the first half.
That was the same play, Keith, that he caught for a big gainer earlier in the ball game. Holtz went back to it. That time they had a blitz, and it was tight man-to-man coverage, and the tight end was not open. Let's look at the two quarterbacks and what they've done tonight. Of course, Holtz doesn't ask Meyer to throw as much as Marinovich does.
Ray Griggs, number 14, is now in there. Passes away and intended for Sean Davis. And it's incomplete. And defending was Marvin Pollard.
He had him wide open. He was just man on man. Should have completed this ball. And he knows it.
Yeah, he was on the full move, and he was clear by 5 yards.
98 is Barber. He's the outside linebacker, is going to be blitzing. That's Bettis trying to pick him up and not doing a very good job. No wonder he didn't complete it, because Barber was right in his face.
So the Irish will have to punt it at 45 seconds to go. They get some pressure on Hendrick, but he gets it away. And the Trojans let it go, and it goes into the end zone, come back to the 20. That's a 48-yarder. So Craig has a 58 and a 48-yard
First and 10 USC.
pair of punts. We got a lot of good young punters around the country, don't we?
Yes, we do.
Bunch of them.
It's beginning more and more important. I think if you can back up the other team's offense and make them go another 15 or 20 yards, your defense is going to have a much better chance of stopping them.
38 seconds to go in the first half now as the Trojans take over the ball at their own 20. The ball has moved up and down the field. It's just we haven't put much on the scoreboard yet. Here's the fullback. Royster, the tailback. 3 wideouts in the ball game. Give it to Royster. Bouncing outside. Didn't bounce very long because number 26, Greg Davis, came in a hurry and got him first. Give him a yard. Clock is rolling, and it looks like they might want to go to the clubhouse on that play. I think the shake of the head by Larry Smith there may well have meant, let's go talk. That's exactly what it meant. So at the end of the first half of play, in meeting number 62 between Notre Dame and Southern California, we have a 3-3 tie.
ABC's College Football. Brought to you by Honda, maker of fine quality automobiles. Test drive a Honda at your local dealer today. And by ITT Corporation, building people's dreams. We'll be back after these messages and a word from our ABC stations. ABC Sports and the Prudential, celebrating 20 years of college football together, present the Prudential Halftime Report. Brought to you by the Prudential, your piece of the rock. We won't let you get it until you've got it. Here's Keith Jackson.
Earlier this week, Beth Ruack talked with the executive director of the NCAA, Dick Schultz, about several things, including underclassmen eligibility and football playoff. Hear their conversation.
Do you remember 12 weeks ago when Miami sat at the top of the AP preseason poll? What happened each week since then left no team unbeaten and untied.
This is the way it should be. You ought to be able to go into a Saturday, not have any idea who's going to win,
and have the team that maybe is ranked 15 be able to beat the number 1 team. To me, that's what it's all about. That's college football.
In fact, there are a lot of people that say, though, that is the perfect argument for national playoffs.
It's not going to be the fans clamoring for a clear-cut number 1 or the media saying we ought to have a playoff. It's going to be because the NFL continues to expand their schedule, play through December 31, and this is eventually going to be cause the demise of some of the smaller bowls. Then the college community will be ready to take a look at a playoff.
And how soon might that happen, do you believe?
That's hard to say. I think it could happen sometime in the 90s, but as I say, I think it'll be later in the 90s rather than earlier in the 90s.
Today is supposed to be the official day for bowl invitations, and yet we have learned that 5 bowls had handshake agreements as early as November 3rd. So doesn't that imply that rule has been meaningless this year?
Well, it's been a meaningless rule for a long period of time, and we pushed to get that rule out a year ago, but the bowls lobbied pretty hard with some of the membership, and it was sustained. I think the only way that we're going to resolve that is that everybody's going to have to get burned, and then they'll reach some type of gentleman's agreement on the selection process.
Is college football moving in the direction you wanted to see it move?
Well, I think we need to do some things to increase the visibility, not necessarily the visibility, but spice up college football a little bit. I don't think that the bowls are necessarily doing that right now.
He's not convinced that in the beginning, football playoffs could generate a windfall equal to the NCAA basketball tournament. But then Schultz prefers a playoff structure of only 2 or 4 teams in the first year. Either way, he says, the NFL schedule creates a definite impasse in college football postseason action.
My understanding is they're going to give each team 2 off weeks in the future, and basically that's going to be hard to resolve because they're doing that for television purposes, for exposure of their ball clubs, and they're in it from a business standpoint, and probably the concern for the bowls is not there.
People describe you as boldly and aggressively leading the NCAA into the 90s. Would your legacy then be a system of national playoffs for college football?
Well, I would hate to have that be my own legacy because that's not high on my priority list.
I'm laughing at that promotion for basketball. Here we go. Get my headset up. Now, the University of Southern California Trojan Marching Band, directed by Dr. Arthur C. Bartner. Flight of the Intruder, written by USC graduate Basil Polidorus. This is the music from Flight of the Intruder, as we told you, written by USC graduate Basil Polidorus, who, with Paramount Studios, has set up a $4,000 scholarship for the ROTC band members, U.S. Navy ROTC band members. And Polidorus is the guest conductor as the band performs here at halftime. The Flight of the Intruder. And now the final installment of our Prudential Play of the Week. We'll go back to 1974, the game between the Fighting Irish and Southern California, a game in which Anthony Davis was the star. Here's one of the moments.
ABC Sports and the Prudential celebrating 20 years of college football together. Notre Dame Southern Cal at the Coliseum. Second half about to begin. The Irish dominating to this point, leading 24-6, but Anthony Davis set to explode. Keith Jackson on the call.
Here's the kick. McLaughlin knocks it high and deep.
And Davis, 2 yards deep in the end zone, will bring it back. The wedge gets him to the 20. He breaks it at the 25. He's long gone at the 40. It's now a foot race, and here goes Anthony Davis for 102 yards and a touchdown.
Unbelievably, that was Davis's second 100-yard kickoff return of the year. The Trojans score 49 unanswered second-half points to rout the Irish 55-24 in Ara Parsegian's final regular season game as Notre Dame's head coach.
In that 1974 game, Anthony Davis had 4 touchdowns, but that was too short of his record against Notre Dame. He had 6 touchdowns in 1972, and during his three-year career against the Fighting Irish, Davis scored 11 touchdowns. And Ara Parsegian hasn't really talked to him since. I don't blame you, Coach. That's incredible. 3-3 tie at halftime. All right, Roger, and here's the money breakdown on the first day's activity. And it's just staggering. But it's also staggering to me that they can be so calm. But I guess when you've made $10 million this year, it ain't too bad, huh?
I'm a man, Jack, so to get in there tomorrow.
Jack, get after it.
Well, when the
tomorrow,
big money starts rolling around, Jack will be there.
Jack will be there. All right, let's talk about the rolling around we've got here at the Coliseum now. The ball's moved up and down the field quite a bit, but nobody's really cashed any chips.
Well, I'm a little surprised. You know, for those viewers that saw our game last week, it was 45-42 USC over UCLA. This is just the opposite. And I think that defensively, the coordinator's got to be very happy. It's a bend, don't break philosophy on both sides. It's just been containing, take away the big plays from both teams, and they've done that. These two defenses came in averaging 24 points a game. The offenses came in averaging 30 points a game. So I think in the second half, once they get in and they talk about, put on the board, what are the defenses doing? Now we're going to open it up a little bit. We're going to go out and attack them. I think we're going to see some fireworks in the second half.
Yeah, but haven't we seen pretty much the playbook on both teams?
No, not at all. Not at all. I think defensively they may have shown a few things. I think the Stonebreaker sack came from the outside. I think that's something new. But I think the second half they're going to come out and just let it all hang out. I know that they don't want to get beat in the first half. Yeah, and offensively also.
Well, we'll see, because USC has a history of getting into some scoring before a ball game is done.
Well,
I mean, they've been doing it all year.
And this series down through the years has been some outstanding scoring.
Right,
as you like to mention to Era, who I'm sure may be watching, about that horse running around here.
He's feeling better. He got a new hip. He's going to be back on the course. Mike McGee, the athletic director, Dr. Mike at the University of Southern California, an All-American from Duke University, and installed into the College Football Foundation Hall of Fame, congratulated before the game tonight. There's John Ferraro making the presentation along with Dr. Jim Zumberg. Mike going into the Hall of Fame, and John, of course, was an All-American, and Dr. Zumberg is retiring. So it's a big weekend here at Southern California. The search is on for a successor for Dr. Zumberg as the president of USC, but that search will go on for some time as yet. A 3-3 tie at the Coliseum.
The Prudential Halftime Report has been brought to you by The Prudential. Come to the companies of The Prudential and build your future on the rock. ABC's College Football, brought to you by Today's Chevrolet, who invites you to see why more people are winning with the heartbeat of America. And by UPS, now offering 10:30 a.m. guaranteed overnight air delivery.
3-3 tie here at the Coliseum in Los Angeles, and we're honored to have with us for a moment the former president, Ronald Reagan, who is starting to play some golf now, I hear. You're getting some time.
Well, yes, I had to kind of lay off on that for 8 years, and now I decided to get back into it.
I want to ask you something. This is a very festive weekend. Before the ball game, you went into the locker room with these two teams representing these two institutions.
Yes.
Tell me what it was like to go in and talk to these young men.
Well, it was wonderful. I was a football player myself for 8 years in high school and college. I was very pleased to be there because this is a very special thing in the football season. This is the continuation of the first intersectional game when Knute Rockne, way back in 1926, thought that the schools should not just play the neighboring schools but should do something like this. And now here we are in the 62nd game of that between those two.
You know, most people, I'll bet you, don't know that George Gipp, the role you played in the motion picture, never played against Southern California because George died at the end of the 1920 season, they didn't start this until 26.
That's right. He was back there in that period. He died before the finish of his senior year citizen. He died.
You know, I've been around this since 1952, and Notre Dame Southern California game still raises goosebumps on me.
Well, I feel much the same way. As I say, this is a kind of historic and traditional thing.
It's something worth keeping in our fabric of our society, isn't it?
Oh, yes, very much so. I think it's so typically American. The whole game is.
Mr. President, it's great to see you.
Well, it's good to see you.
You come play some golf with us.
What?
Come play some golf with us. Okay. Nice to see you, sir.
All right.
Thank you very much.
You bet.
Mr. Ronald Reagan, former President of the United States. Looking great.
Thank you.
Now the stats with Bob Greasy.
Well, Keith, you look at the stats, and they're going to be just about as tight as the score. 3-3 at halftime. The total plays are about the same. First downs are about the same. Total yardage is about the same. They got to it in a little bit different way. SC throwing a little bit more. Notre Dame running a little more. Time of possession about the same. And the one turnover really had no effect, and that was the Culver fumble on the exchange from Rick Meyer. Notre Dame is receiving the second half kickoff. They had the ball 4 times in the first half and punted twice. They scored a field goal on that second drive. 19 plays, fumbled away their third opportunity. Only 4 possessions in the first half is low. You normally get the ball a few more times. So look at Rocket Ismail. He touched the ball 7 times in the first half. He had it on 3 rushes, 2 punt returns, 1 kickoff, and 1 reception. He totaled 84 yards. Individually for Notre Dame, Meyer was 5 of 10. Brooks led the rushers, and the tight end Brown was a leading receiver with 2 for 27. Defensively for the Trojans, Merrill was the leading tackler with 7.
And Grant Runestrom is ready to kick it off for Southern California. Let's see if he'll kick it to the Rocket. He kicks it over to the far side of the field. They take as much real estate away from him as possible, and they get it at the 31-yard line. And so the Irish will have pretty good field position to start this possession as we begin the second half of play in a 3-3 tie. And let's see if the two coaches decide early on in this third quarter to do what Bob suggested, take some chances. You got a double wide bottom of the picture, and the handoff goes to Brooks. And Tony Brooks, starting at tailback in the second half, is wrestled down after he picks up a couple of yards.
Usually in the first possession of the second half, you can see if there's been any adjustments, either on offense or defense, for either ball club. The coaches, the assistant coaches, come down from the press box. They put up on the blackboard the things that the other team is doing, suggestions for the second half, and then come out and try to implement them in the ball game.
Rick Meyer, the Irish quarterback, talking to Rodney Culver, settles under Mike Holt, the center, drops back to throw it. Now gets a little daylight to the outside, but he's covered up pretty quickly by Mike Hens, number 97, the nose guard for the Trojans. Hens was never blocked on the play. He just kept sliding along, and it eventually, his quarry was in his clutches.
Meyer was looking for the flanker, and the tight end was wide open, and he just didn't see him.
What is it with you quarterbacks and tight ends? You guys never did see us.
Yeah. Well, we always wanted to throw the ball a long way. The tight ends were too close.
It's 3rd down and 9. Meyer rolls, pumps, lets it go deep for Rocket. And it's incomplete. Calvin Holmes running with him.
Well, that's something new right there, Keith. This is an out and up. You're going to see him. He's going to go down, stagger to the outside. Now, Holmes was supposed to bite on the out move. Meyer was outside the pocket to give himself more time to throw the ball. And that is a new thing that they put in at halftime, which run the out and up on Holmes, number 21.
On 4th down, then the Irish will punt. That's how they started the game in their first possession. Hendrick hits a low liner. And Scott Lockwood, who does just about everything, including fill the water bucket, comes back a couple of yards after making the catch.
Wow, it's the Big Four Classic. Indiana versus Louisville, Kentucky versus Notre Dame. 2 unbelievable games, both back-to-back.
ABC's college basketball gets uncaged next Saturday.
Give me my earplugs now. The ball is at the 26-yard line, where it's first down for Southern California now. The first possession of the second half for USC. Notre Dame showing a 4-man front. Fullback Scott Lockwood. Maybe a yard, not anymore. Here's Jackaroot.
And Keith, this man next to me, Rodney Peete, had an illustrious career here at USC as a quarterback, but you never beat Notre Dame. Does that sit sideways with you?
Oh, yeah, it's something I never accomplished when I was here at SC. And, you know, it's one of the things when you play your rivals. We have UCLA and we have Notre Dame, and you want to at least beat your rivals once during your time at school. And I wasn't able to do that, but now that I'm back here, I got chills for the guys out here, and hopefully we can do it tonight.
And Keith, this is the first time he's ever come to a game and sat on the sidelines as a spectator.
Is that right? Yeah. Marinovich pumps it once, now throws it underneath the Lockwood out of the backfield. And that's well short of the first down, up around the 32-yard line. I'll never forget him having the measles and getting up out of the bed with the measles and
that young man,
UCLA.
Not only an outstanding football player, but a great young man. Southern Cal in the first half had 4 possessions. They had a great drive the first time, 14 plays in the field goal. Then they had a 12, and then they didn't do much with it the next few times. They actually had it 4 times. That last one was just 1 play before the half.
Lockwood, the lone back. Wellman rolling it out. Penalty flag goes down. The pass is away. The pass is complete and may come back. It may come back. Then on the other hand, it might be that one of the Irish on defense moved a little early and may have been caught in the neutral zone. Let's just see what happens. Here's Gordon Reese.
Offside. Defense.
Yep, they got the defender in the neutral zone. They'll decline that and take the play, which is much larger than the penalty, and it'll be first down, Southern California. The ball is on the Irish side of the field at the 49.
In the first half, the offensive leaders for SC, Marinovich was 10 of 15 for 109. Royster had 54. Wellman led the receivers with 5. Dubose led the tacklers. Stonebreaker was right behind him.
Marinovich fakes it well, rolls it out, throws it. Pass is incomplete off the hands of Wallace. Larry Wallace couldn't hold it. There was a lot of movement to the other side, and when Marinovich rolled it out, I thought he might have something big cooking, but nope.
Notre Dame defense did very well, Keith. I was looking downfield, and there was really nobody that wide open. The first couple of drives, Gary Darnell's defensive troops in the ball game were some big gaps down there. Now they've kind of tightened it up.
Second down and 10. Travis Hanna makes the catch, falling down short of the first down. They'll mark the ball at the Irish 42. They've got to go to the 39. He needs 3 more.
Both teams, Keith, use a lot of wide receivers. They've been blessed with a lot of speed. That's one of the things that Larry Smith said when he came here 4 years ago, was he was surprised at the lack of speed that Southern Cal had on the roster, and he has taken care of that in fine fashion.
Marinovich, 13 out of 19, 140 yards so far tonight. The Texans been good. They've got Lockwood wide open. And the burner from Boulder takes it down to a first down at the Irish 30. You know who made the play work was Wellman.
Yeah, well, unbalanced line. This is something new. Linebackers go to blitz. They're going to get the ball to the man out in the flat. Roll it toward him. Roll toward the unbalanced. Pick up the linebacker. Throw it over the defensive man. That's a big play. It's a good play. Defensively, I'm sure that Darnell thought he had something going until Marinovich executed the play.
First down, 30. And Notre Dame. Royster with his first carry of the second half. A yard. Nick Zorich, number 50, is playing with that dislocated kneecap, and I think Chris has lost some of his verve.
Well, he's not playing as well, Keith, since that injury, and that's been a problem with the Irish defense. Their top players have been banged up. We mentioned Todd Light with his hamstring, Zorich with the leg problem, and he's definitely not playing as well. He's very strong and very quick, but he's lost some of that because of the injury.
Second down and 9 from the 29. Marinovich gets it off to Wellman. Wellman, very difficult to get a handle on. Will have the first down as he reaches the 17-yard line. And as we look down on the old Coliseum, number 83 one more time becomes very prominent.
Just a quick out. That's Todd Light, number 1. Wellman, this is the problem that Todd Light has had this year. Covering backs and tackling, and that's why I got to believe that there's a problem with that hamstring still, Keith. He missed a lot of tackles last week, and he continues to miss tackles here tonight.
Marinovich now 6 of his last 7. Stonebreaker trying to blitz, trying to time it. They pick him up, and Marinovich gets it away too high. Had his man, too. Oh, my goodness. He had Wellman open by 5 yards. But left-hander running right, hard to do.
They had exactly what they wanted. I'm sure they talked about it at halftime. When we get down here, we'll do this. Roll out a little bit. We'll do it. It's kind of an out and up. Wellman kind of ran to the outside and then went up. That's the same thing, the same theory that Ismail and Notre Dame did on their first possession. A little out and up.
Wellman seemingly shaken up after the tumble. He kind of fell flat on his back, which tends to knock the wind out of you a bit. Second down and 10. Blitz coming. Passes away. Pass is completed to Morton. And Morton is dragged down by Greg Davis. The gain is short. The point is, it's a gain.
Well, when you get inside the 15-yard line, Notre Dame has a history of blitzing, especially in the last few ball games, and they're certainly coming after them tonight inside the 20.
Joel Scott just checked in.
Go back and take a look at Scott Wellman going for the ball. Gary Wellman, excuse me. It looked like he just got the wind knocked out of him.
He's back. Third down and 7. Pass is away. The pass is caught by Lockwood out of the backfield, and the tackle made by Todd Light, and it is well short of the first down. And here comes your field goal unit, Quinn Rodriguez. So once again, Southern California gets down, knocking on the door, and the Irish defense turns them away. Rodriguez, back in the first quarter, hit a 22-yarder to give Southern California the lead. This will be a 30-yarder to give them the lead in the third quarter. 30-31. We'll see what they call it downstairs. That kick is right through the heart. It's 30 yards. 6-3. The Trojans go back into the lead at 9:09 to go in the third quarter. Nick Faldo, Greg Norman, Curtis Strange, and Jack Nicklaus. The Big Bucks in the Skins game tomorrow at 3:30 Eastern and Pacific, 2:30 Central here on ABC Sports. Faldo won $70,000 today. Strange $65,000, Norman $30,000, and Jack's thinking about tomorrow. The Trojans now will
WAAY Huntsville.
And they're going to kick it to the Rocket again. They're getting a little fearless here. They take him down about the 31. They've been able to get him each time at around the 30. One time he got out to the 37. But so far they've handled it. But you keep doing it. Just keep doing it. Boy. 31-yard line. The Irish now come up. Myra at quarterback. Behind him you got Culver and Waters with Ismail at the flanker position. And it goes to Waters on a sweep. And he cuts it nicely. And he cuts it back for a 7-yard pickup. 5 seconds now for our ABC stations to tell you who they are.
WAAY Huntsville.
The Olympic flame flickering at the Coliseum and the clock showing 8:40 to play in the third quarter. Renovation plan for the old structure in 1992. We're going to displace the Trojans for a season. Waters, the tailback, skipping around looking for a crack. Couldn't find it. Got 1 yard before Terry McDaniels nails him down. So it'll be third down and 2. There's that white horse. And he has been quiet so far tonight. That is a young fella. And both of them young, the rider and the horse. And they parted company a few times in the last year or so. Surge of the offense.